3:34, so get rolling. Call the FARGODOME Authority meeting to order. First, we'd like to approve the agenda, which you have in front of you. If there are no changes or additions, I'd entertain a motion to accept the agenda.
So.
Motion
Second.
from Mike, second from Dan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next would be approve the minutes from the January 28th meeting, which start on page 1. Take a brief moment to review those.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Motion from Blake.
I'll second.
Second from Mike to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. Is there any old business? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. General Manager's report. I'll turn it over to Rob.
All right, we'll start on page 4 with the January financials. Susan's favorite month. Everything's all symmetrical.
Month to date.
Nice.
One side equals the other side, and accountant's dream. So for the month of January, we had 10 events, event days with attendance of just over 15,200, slightly above the budgeted attendance of 14,750. We had total event income of just shy of 108,500, or about 5,000 short of the $113,000 budget. We had other income slightly above budget at 144,000, and expenses were 13,000 below budget at 295,000. So that brought us up to a net deficit for the month of January, which we always typically have. A net deficit of 42,500 for the month of January. However, that was $11,500 higher than the budgeted net deficit of 54,000. So, okay results. On the event income side, Paw Patrol. First time we've ever had that show, so we didn't have a great comparison. It's not as big as Disney on Ice. It's smaller than Disney Live type of a thing, or bigger than Disney Live. So we kind of threw a target at somewhere left of center or right of center, and came up all right, as we were about 9,500 above budget on that. The boat show had a slightly lower attendance, which then affects all the ancillaries moving through with parking and food and beverage, which are for us with a little bit of weather on the Saturday and Sunday, so about 8,300 below budget. Fight the Frost, pretty much right on with budget, about 1,600 above. Then the meeting rooms, slower room rentals up in the meeting rooms than anticipated. However, on the other income side, the interest continues to be a little higher, so that's a positive. And then on the indirect expenses, we were about 8,200 below budget on labor, and then also about 4,700 below budget on everything else. Snow removal was a little higher with January, but temperatures started to moderate, so steam and timing of different purchases were there.
Can you go over to the year-to-date as well?
Yes, I just did. Asked and answered, I believe, is the military response or court response. So that would be any questions on the financials from anybody for the month of January, that is.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the January month-to-date and year-to-date financials as presented.
Second.
Motion from Blake, second from Dan to approve the financials. Roll call.
Dan?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Troy?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Blake?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Past events.
All right, past events, moving on then to page 12. Excuse me. Of the packet since our January meeting. The dirt was coming in that day for the Monster Jam, so we had Monster Jam on Friday and Saturday, January 31st and February 1st. They decent attendance at those. Cleaned up the dirt. I think the dirt finished up getting out of the building late Saturday night, early into the Sunday morning. Got the building all cleaned on Sunday, or the floor cleaned, and the North Dakota Soybean Council started moving in and setting up for their one-day conference and trade show. Moved in on Monday the 3rd, had their event on Tuesday the 4th. They got out the late afternoon, early evening of the 4th, and our operations crew set up the Gate City Bank Theater, and we had an American in Paris in the Gate City Bank Theater on Thursday the 6th. Tore that down quick, and then had Jason Aldean, just about 12,000 people on Saturday, February 8th. Cleaned up from Aldean and into the NDSU Career Center, their spring career expo, where they actually have 2 or 3 different career expos. They loaded in set up on Monday the 10th, show loaded in the morning of the 11th. Tuesday had the show on Tuesday the 11th, but then the ground blizzard conditions came on the 12th, and with the university closing down, that closes all university activities as well, so they were not able to have the career fair on the 12th, even though we did have vendors set up and things such as that. So it was kind of the building was not shut down, so we were open, and so some vendors came in and got their stuff then and later in the day, as well as on Thursday the 13th, as we were setting up for the Kiwanis Pancake Carnival. They set up Thursday and Friday the 13th and 14th of February, and had the Kiwanis Pancake Carnival on Saturday the 15th. I believe it was about 9,200 people came through. Got pretty busy here late morning or early afternoon. Kiwanis got cleared out on Saturday the 15th. The building was turned over, set up for the North Dakota High School Activities Association combined Class A/B wrestling tournament, which concluded this last weekend, and we had that this past Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Good attendance, good crowd on Saturday. Everybody was pleased. Which brings us to today, which the wrestling tournament's cleaned up, and the home show is marking out the floors, and they'll start loading in at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning for their show this weekend. Any questions, comments, past events from board members? As you can see, we've had a pretty busy February, and we've got a busy March ahead of us as well.
Is wrestling on a rotation?
Wrestling, Fargo is
Permanent?
I would call semi-permanent, because the 7 years out that the high school activities does their tournament schedules, it's always listed for Fargo, but that could change after the 7 years. But Fargo seems to be the desired home for state
No, I'm
wrestling.
not. This year I'm gonna pass.
Bismarck and Minot seem to be the desired home for the boys Class B. Bismarck and Fargo for the combined Class A basketball, boys and girls. Hockey rotates between Grand Forks and Fargo. And then volleyball, Fargo and Minot right now as well. No questions, comments on past events? Moving forward then, as I said, home show is taping today and moves in tomorrow and Thursday and Friday morning. Starts at 3 o'clock Friday afternoon, the 28th. Runs through Sunday, March 1st, and moves out the evening of the 1st plus the morning of the 2nd, Monday, March 2nd. They move out as the sportsman show is pulling up, and they'll start loading in at 6 o'clock Tuesday morning, March 3rd. Load in all day the 3rd, all day the 4th, and during the day on the 5th, and opening their show at 5 o'clock Thursday, March 5th, and that'll run through 5 o'clock Sunday, March 8th, as they load out that Sunday, and we flip the building over and get ready for the combined State A boys and girls basketball tournament that's held both here and at the Shack on Thursday, Friday, and then just at the Shack on Saturday. We'll get everything torn down, basketball floor up. Dirt will come in for the rodeo on March 17th. We'll have the rodeo performances the evening of Friday the 20th and the evening of Saturday the 21st. Get the building cleaned up just in time for the circus to come to town, and that'll be in on Friday, Saturday, Sunday the 27th to the 29th of March, which brings us up to our next meeting, which will be March 31st. So we're in the midst of an extremely busy time, and continue to show the building's versatility with all the different types of events that we're doing. Any questions, comments from board members on upcoming events?
Any games at the Shack, or they're all here for the
For State A?
Yeah.
That's got, FARGODOME has the girls' games on Thursday, the Shack has the boys' games on Thursday. FARGODOME has 2 boys and 2 girls consolation games on Friday, and the championship bracket of both boys and girls are at the Shack, and then all games are at the Shack. The Shack is the basketball facility, the Shield
Okay.
Center, and so
Oh.
rightfully so, it
Yeah.
sets up as a better basketball facility than FARGODOME does. FARGODOME is a good facility, but with the Shield Center at the Sanford Health now, it's a much better basketball atmosphere than FARGODOME. It's one of those that, since we are the home of the state football championships with the Dakota Bowl, the state wrestling tournament, state volleyball tournament, a lot of times, Rumble on the Red, it's kind of like the olden days of having to hold dates in December for NDSU playoff games, even though you knew you weren't going to get them.
Right.
Hasn't happened for 9 years, obviously, but it's one of those where we work together to make the best situation for Fargo.
Nice.
Thanks, Rob. I'll move on to committee reports. Building and Finance Committee, Mike or Blake, care to make that report?
Okay, so Barb Austin from Ide Bailey was in and gave the audit report and great report. So nice job, Susan and team, on the audit report. As in years past, we get a modified opinion every year because we don't report the pension liability, just due to timing of having the information, and it goes on the city's report. So it was a good report. So January financials, we heard those. Susan gave an update on the ticketing RFP that we received. 4 companies responded, so they're just evaluating the RFPs, and interviews will be set up in March for the ticketing.
Yep. Around March 11th.
Okay, middle of
11th
March.
to 15th, 18th.
Item D, Building and Finance approved a sole source bid from AVI to purchase 4 replacement projectors for upstairs here. Those projectors will go downstairs. The old ones up here will be moved downstairs. It's also kind of a piggyback on the state's contract.
Correct.
With AVI. And the quote was $84,000.
Yep.
Budget, we had $120,000 in the budget, so that was approved by Building and Finance. And then project updates, Rob presented some potential upgrades to the backstage and dressing room area. A few of us went down there afterwards, and it's due from what we saw. So Building and Finance approved to move forward with bid on construction costs. So more to come on that. So that would conclude my report. Make a motion to approve.
Do we want to approve the audit separately at the board level?
Can't remember what we do year to year.
Right.
It's part of the committee report.
All right.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
just both committees have done it, so you can just do it as a committee report, unless there's any objections to it.
Nope.
No, that's a good question.
We have a motion from Blake to approve the Building and Finance Committee roll call.
David?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Troy?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Blake?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Blake. Additional items. Trying to stretch this till 4.
It was even starting a couple minutes late.
Any additional items? If none, we're adjourned.